Hey guys, I hope God is treating you with His goodness and you are feeling His love. With my content, I aim to educate and never to humiliate. However, if you lend yourself to an example, you will be an example. So, the other day, someone said something rather derogatory to me about African American hair. The stereotype that African American women cannot grow their hair is all wrong. And what I want to do is explain the history behind African American hair care in the United States because that plays a lot into African American history and why things are the way they are. All right, let's get started. So, before our arrival in the United States, in Africa, hair is and was still a huge part of our culture. It indicates our age, our tribal affiliation, our social status. We have braids, we have twists, we have intricate hair patterns, and all of this was an expression of our culture, identity, and spirituality. So, when we were forced to come over to the United States, some of that was lost. The transatlantic slave trade was very destructive to our culture. So upon their arrival in the United States, they, let's say in a word, stripped us of our culture. And part of that is to dehumanize us. We were not allowed to express ourselves with the intricate hairstyles that we would have carried on had we been allowed to keep our African culture. We were made to cover up our hair because Eurocentric beauty was the ideal form of beauty. This was a part of suppressing us and dehumanizing us. We were forced to adopt Eurocentric beauty standards, which involved having straight hair, fair skin. That was the idea of beauty, and anybody who didn't have that, they were seen as undesirable. With Eurocentric beauty being forced upon us, we had limited access to hair care products. So, due to harsh conditions of slavery, being out in the sun all day, having a lack of hair care products, our hair was neglected, and that brought up various hair and scalp issues. So, in addition to not having proper hair care, slave owners would actually use their hair as a means of control. They often dictated how we could wear our hair, and they imposed strict rules upon self-expression with hair. And if you didn't comply, you were punished. But despite that, Africans and African Americans found ways to express themselves culturally secretively. We found a way to have our self-expression. Our curly hair, our tight curls or kinky hair wasn't a form of beauty to them, so they required us to cover it up. But underneath those coverings, we had our braids, our intricate designs, and our cultural preservation, and it was kind of an act of defiance, but it gave us a sense of pride and preserved our culture. So another reason why they required us to cover our hair was to stop us from attracting so much attention with our intricate designs in our hair, because the Eurocentric idea of beauty was in place. And by controlling appearance, you then reinforce the hierarchy and maintain a sense of power and control. So in 1786, the Tignon Law was enacted, and this was to stop Black and Creole women from wearing their hair uncovered. It was a law. They literally outlawed our hair. So now what you see is women starting to wear colorful head wraps and headdresses to express themselves. I mean, you just can't stop it. We're going to express ourselves. So with the abolishment of slavery in 1865, you still saw African American women and African women expressing themselves with head wraps, but there was a shift towards wearing our hair naturally again. However, that was met with resistance. So in the early 1900s, you began to see Black women try to adopt Eurocentric forms of beauty, which included straightening our hair. And this was to try to assimilate into society and be widely accepted and possibly get jobs. So then you start to see black hair care emerge with Annie Malone, who was one of the wealthiest African American women. She developed a straightening system for Afro textured hair. She developed the Poro brand, and she also founded the Poro College, which was a cosmetic school. And the name of the Poro brand comes from a secret society in West Africa that focused on physicality and spirituality. And after moving to Denver to sell Annie Malone's Poro products, Sarah Breedlove changed her name to Madam C.J. Walker and started to develop products for Afro textured hair as well. So Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker played a huge role in black hair care. So while they helped black women straighten their hair, we were still suppressed into accepting the Eurocentric form of beauty, which is to have straight hair. A lot of black women felt that if they straightened their hair, it would give them better chances of employment and advance their career and social lives. Straight hair was also seen to be easier to manage as well. It was a way to avoid anti-blackness in society and avoid negative stereotypes that went along with being black in America. So then, in the 1960s, we saw a reemergence of our natural hair in afros that they called naturals. It became a way for us to express our blackness and how proud of who we are and resist the oppression of who God created us to be. So by the 70s, black people were wearing their hair in all kinds of ways. You had the afro, you had the straight perm, you had the jerry curl, you had the braids. We were just expressing ourselves in all sorts of ways. However, black expression was still oppressed with the idea of Eurocentric standards of beauty. We would get our hair pressed. I remember wearing braids and with the beads and all those sort of things. It was a really cool hairstyle, but I'm telling you something, when you got hit in the head with one of those beads, it hurt. But I absolutely loved when I had beads in my hair. It was a really cool hairstyle, and I felt pretty. It was an expression of blackness. But my mom still permed my hair straight, and I actually had no idea what my natural curl pattern was until I was about 28 years old when I stopped perming my hair. So when I was growing up and my hair would grow, I would need a perm. We often heard terms like good hair and bad hair. Well, the good hair was straight hair and the bad hair was the kinky coily hair that came out of our heads naturally. Unfortunately, these terms are still kind of thrown around in Black society amongst young girls, which is pretty damaging to a young girl's self-esteem, and women as well. We don't have bad hair. We have bad hair care, but we don't have bad hair. And as I said before, God doesn't make mistakes. He made our hair grow out of our head like this. He doesn't make mistakes. So as I said, I was about 28 years old when I decided, it was like 2004, I decided that I was gonna grow my hair out natural. A lot of us do this thing called the big chop, where we just cut off the straight ends of our hair and we wear our hair natural. Well, that movement has been met with resistance as well. Our natural hair has been called unprofessional. And I mean, how do you call God unprofessional? He created us this way. Braids can be seen as unprofessional. Our African heritage in the United States is often seen as unprofessional. So I grew my hair out from 2004 to 2007. And I decided in 2007, hey, my hair grew out. I'm gonna, perm it straight again. Bad idea. So I go into the salon and I decide that, hey, I'm gonna get a perm. And this woman, oh my word, she did a number on my hair. She didn't know how to take care of natural hair, and I should have gotten up when she started blow drying my hair. My hair was pretty long, and when I got out of that chair, it was up to my chin, which was devastating. So from then on out, I swore off perms. I would never walk into another salon and ask for my hair to be chemically straightened ever again. And I haven't since then. It was traumatizing. So as you can see, our hair has been highly politicized. I mean, laws have been made against it. We have been deemed unprofessional. The hair care system has kind of fought against our natural hair with perming. And the thing is, some of us do it in an unhealthy way. Now, that's the beauty of having Afro textured hair and curly hairs. You can actually flat iron your hair or wear it straight. However, we have to do it in a healthy way. And a lot of us have adopted unhealthy hair care, which then perpetuates the stereotype that Black women can't grow their hair. We can. Our hair grows. It's the problem of retaining it because of the unhealthy hair care practices. We have to have good hair maintenance, and when we don't, it causes breakage, which then perpetuates the stereotype that Black women can't grow their hair. We absolutely can. We just have trouble maintaining it, which dates back to us being suppressed and not having proper hair care. So who would have thought hair would have been such a big deal? But it is. It's intimidated some people. It's fascinated some people. It's been politicized. It's been outlawed. It's been ugly. It's been good. It's amazing, unprofessional, forbidden to be worn out, fascinating. Black women's hair has been such a focal point in the United States. And honestly, I'll be truthful with you, it's kind of tiresome because, like, it's just hair that grows out of my head. And yes, it will grow. So if you have an issue with Black hair, you got to take that up with the good Lord, because that's how He created us. And God does not make trash. He doesn't make mistakes. He makes beautiful things. Speaking of, I hope you are experiencing His love and that you are giving His love to other people, everybody, no exclusions. All right. Love you guys. Be blessed. Bye, people. It's my TikTok TED Talk.